We are at Roppongi Rocks headquarters in Tokyo with Chuck Wright.
Hello, hello.
You may remember him from Quiet Riot, Alice Cooper, Giuffria, House of Lords, and a ton of other things.
It goes on and on and on, definitely.
Let's kick it off with Quiet Riot. You played on what became the first metal album to reach #1 in the US charts. You played on a few of the songs and you sang background vocals, and then you were back and forth in the band for something like 26 years.
Exactly, 26 years. And that happened to be the very first album I ever recorded. I was in Dubrow, which was Kevin's band, and it eventually became called Quiet Riot because the label said, you're going to be either called Standing Hampton or Wild Oscar. And Kevin goes, no way, no way. It's going to be Quiet Riot again. We'll just use that name. It's a better name. So that's how that stuck. And honestly, when I made that record, I had my own band going at the same time, where I was the main songwriter for it. It was my thing, and that kind of music was not it. Some people call it heavy metal. I call that the Mental Health record. Really is a hard rock album to me. And when I did Mental Health, I was asleep on the couch in the lobby, and they go, "Hey Chuck, you got to come in here and cut the bass on Mental Health." I go, "Really?" I go, "Okay, turn it up really loud, and let's just go for it." And I got it in one take, except for the very end, because it's one of those, and you have to see the drummer to end. And they punched in that one note. So basically, that's all just one take, and the feel of it is my feel. I was in a conversation with the producer, Spencer Proffer, and we used to call him Spend Your Profits. Anyway, he brought in this song. It was a Slade song that never broke here, but it broke huge in England. And he played it for Kevin, and Kevin goes, "I'm not doing any covers, no covers, my songs, that's it." And I said, I'm sitting there with him, nobody else. I go, "Kevin," I go, "listen to what we have. Do you hear a hit single? We called it CHR, contemporary hit. Do you hear anything like that?" I go, "I don't. Think of this song. It's called Come On, Feel the Noise. Change the lyrics around, whatever you want to do. Just the title, the way they wrote the title anyway. Just think of it like Queen background vocals, just heavier and more powerful approach to it." And we convinced him to do it. He didn't want to do it. And that song obviously changed the complete fabric of the music industry at the time. It became, the album went to #1. It knocked off the Police and Michael Jackson. To everybody's surprise, especially mine, I didn't think that record would, musically at that time, it was the Knack, Blondie, all these new wave bands. And then Quiet Riot came along with Come On, Feel the Noise, and just, goodbye everybody. And so Hollywood, all the labels started signing all the bands that they called hair farmers at the time, everybody had big hair. And that changed everything, that album, Mental Health, and I had no idea, complete surprise.
Well, it turned out very well.
Yeah, it did. And it's still going strong. How many years later? 40 something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how is it for you as a artist and musician? You've been in, say, Alice Cooper's bands, for example, where you've been playing with him and they're supporting his classic songs and things. Is that a big difference from when you're in your own bands as a solo artist and doing your music, so to speak?
Well, it's a different type of gratification. I mean, I played with Ronnie Montrose as well, and the Montrose record was one of my favorite records when I was a teenager, and I loved Alice Cooper, but I was a huge Montrose fan. So getting out there doing Rock Candy and all those songs, it just felt incredible to get to play with the man that created that, and playing with the man, legendary Alice Cooper. And I used to go out with him. We'd go out to breakfast and go shopping. He loved to shop, and he would love to get a deal. He's really big on getting, "Oh yeah, I got this thing," and he'd show everybody, "Look, I got this pair of boots for like $20. They're incredible. Anybody want them?" And he would give it away. Whatever. But it was, for him, it was about the actual buy, the big bargain. Plus playing with his band was killer. Eric Singer is actually the guy that brought me in, because he was in Montrose, and he brought me in. He said, "Hey, do you want to try out with Alice Cooper?" And I got the gig, and then I had to call Ronnie and say, "Hey Ronnie, I'm sorry, I got this great tour." And I said, my roommate at the time is a guy named Ricky Phillips, who was in Bad English, is would love to play with you. You got to talk. He's from Northern California, like you. You guys would probably hit it off. And he ended up being with Ronnie until he, passed. And that's basically, the thing about playing my own music. It's a different kind of gratification to see people respond. I remember doing a song I wrote for House of Lords called "Standing on the Edge of Your Life," and I saw these girls crying, because of the lyric and the delivery that James was doing. That was really a special moment that I won't ever forget.
Great. And you played in the early 90s in Blackthorne, which was a sort of a
Who's
band.
that? I've never heard of them.
Well, that's kind of the point. I mean, Blackthorne had so much potential. It was you, it was Jimmy Waldo, it was Graham Bonnet, it was Bob Kulick and Frank Benali.
Yeah.
It was, an incredible lineup on paper, and the album was terrific. But it kind of never then took off. I remember Graham and Bob came to Japan and they did some acoustic sort of things on TV and things to try to promote this, but it was not the full band, and then nothing ever really happened. So what's your memory of Blackthorne?
Well, Bob, as you know, he passed, and he was a very close friend of mine. He used to play softball with me every Sunday. We did it for 20 years when we were in town. But he was a control freak, and to work with him he kind of made you play the way he wanted you to play instead of letting you do your own thing. So those records, I'm not that, big on as much as I would be if I got to just do my own thing on the records. But it's very good. There's two. There's one, the main one, and then there's another one called Murder's Row that we did. It's kind of the same band. But I had worked with Graham Bonnet before in Pelletary, and that guy is a powerhouse. You think his head's going to explode whenever he sings, right?
True, yes. And what's your proudest moment so far? You're obviously still early on in your career, but you've achieved a lot so far.
Yeah.
So what's the one standout moment for you?
The one standout moment, I guess, is if we go all the way back to when I was a kid. I was in military school for 8 years, and I was all set to go to the Air Force Academy, and I was going to do. That was my goals, to fly jets and then become a commercial pilot. And that's what I thought when I was a kid. And I joined a band. They asked me, hey, you play guitar, right? And I go, a little bit. And they go, you want to play bass? I go, bass? Isn't that just 4 strings? And they go, yeah. And so I asked my mom. And that's all I had was my mom. And I asked her, I go, hey, I can be in this band if I can get a bass. She goes, okay, we'll get you a bass. And I actually had a place we could rehearse, and that's probably part of why I got the gig. But anyway, I joined these guys. They were older, and I did my first show where I made $75. I drank beer, and the college girls thought I was cute because it was a UCLA fraternity party. And I went to my mom and I said, this is what I want to do.
Never.
I'm done with the military thing. She goes, really? She's invested, because she invested a lot in that for me. And so the proudest moment for me was giving her a platinum record.
Excellent.
Says it all.
Says it all, indeed. And you're obviously famous for most people as a hard rock, heavy metal bass player, but you've done so much more. You've done rap, you've done flamenco. What's the most non-metal thing you've done?
Most non-metal?
Yes.
I played bass and co-produced 2 reggae records, I would say. That kind of falls into non-metal. And they were fun. It's great. It's a completely, different approach to what you're doing, especially on bass, but musically.
Indeed. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, that's called The Children of Zion, is the name of that project. With House of Lords alumni Lanny Cordola, who I did a lot of my favorite records in the 90s with. We have a record called Chaos is the Poetry, which is one of my favorite albums I've recorded. Oh. Ken Mary's in that too, by the way.
Oh. Everything's linked somehow.
Huh?
Everything's linked.
There's a lot of linkage going on, definitely.
And you've also done a fair bit of film music. And some of that involved working with Matt Sorum, the former Cult and Guns N' Roses drummer.
Yes, and that again goes through Lanny Cordola, who I mentioned. They were working together, and they pulled me in, and we were involved in a lot of independent films, scoring the films. And one of them, they brought in Slash to play with, and then we ended up going to the film festival, Sundance Film Festival, and we performed live with Slash. And I'll never forget the thing that stands out about that is he went into the guitar riff. The crowd goes crazy. He walks up to the mic and he goes, "Not gonna happen." You know, people were clamoring to get into that show because we were playing. And Duff showed up too, and he sat in on bass. And Teddy Zigzag was there. He played keyboards. And on the last song, we all switched instruments, and I went to drums, and Matt Sorum fronted, and Teddy was on bass. And the thing I remember about that is we were doing a song called "You're Pushing Too Hard," which is really fast beat, and you know, you forget you're up like 5,000 feet, and I was like dying trying to get through to get some air to finish the song, and Matt's looking at me going, "Come on, dude, come on!" And it was tough, but that stands out for me as a very memorable moment. Was Slash and those guys.
Excellent. And Ultimate Jam Night is a project, a passion project, I would call it, of yours that's been very successful for more than a decade now.
Yeah, passion is right, because it's not a financial thing for me. It's a free show, but I started it in 2015. LA was being taken over by DJs, and the musicians had nowhere to go, pretty much, as a social hang. So I started it basically as a social hang, and I just brought in my friends. I started the band with Gilby Clarke and Matt Starr. I don't know if you know. You probably know who Matt is. Matt's played with everybody.
Ace Frehley, Mr. Big.
Yeah, Ace Frehley, Mr. Big, and anybody? He's ready to go. Anyway, he's great. So that all started up, and Gilby decided he wanted to do other things, so I kept it going, and it's been going now. We just had our 11th anniversary, and it's a themed show. Each show has its own, you know, whatever we're going to do. If it's going to be mustache rock, or if it's going to be new wave, or if it's going to be Ozzy or Queen or whatever, it'll be a theme. And I organize over 50 professional musicians, high level as I can get, that are available and want to come down and just do it. And one of the joys for me is putting people together I think will just create magic together, or people that haven't played together in a long time. I got a hold of Greg Wright and Sugarfoot Moffat, who did the Michael Jackson Thriller tour, and they hadn't seen each other since then. And I said, "Hey, do you guys want to come down?" And so I got them back together to play together. Things like that are always great. And then bands sometimes form from it. You know, guys will play with each other for the first time, and they'll put together something. That's always been great. Or somebody will be seen and get into a band or a tour or something like that. So it's for the musicians, really, and the crowds love it because they get it for free and get to see all these great people play.
Yeah.
So it's been very good. We've done 293 shows.
We should bring that in Japan.
I think we should try it. I think it would work. Get a couple key people here and surround us with a bunch of other great players that are here in town. I've seen a bunch of great musicians here.
We certainly have some of them here,
yeah,
that's for sure. And what's next for you, apart from bringing Ultimate Jam to Japan, hopefully?
Yeah, that would be great. Well, I'm looking at Japan overall as maybe a new home. And as far as in the States, I've been working with a thing called the Legends of Classic Rock. We're doing a couple concerts soon. We did recently a Starbucks commercial. Had to go through hoops, but we got it, and it went viral. 50 million people on one platform, and it was on all like Netflix and Peacock and all the different ones. And it's really quite funny. We're parodying Survivor. In fact, that's how I know a commercial agent contacted me, and she goes, "We're looking for a band that could like pull off Eye of the Tiger, like this from Survivor era." And I go, "That's the band I'm in." And so we ended up getting it, which was great. And we're out like 10 weeks, 11 weeks this year with Royal Caribbean on the Icon of the Seas, which is the newest, largest ship in the world, as special guest performers.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it was great to see you here at Roppongi Rocks again.
Always great to see you, Sam.
And we hope to have you back soon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Psycho!